Microwave. My oven takes too long to preheat. Story 1. I used to use a microwave until I saw how it warmed up hot dogs. I no longer wonder why they taste bad after they're warmed up. Thanks for the gold. You're awesome. Story 2. Michael Wave. He gets ticked off whenever I have to wake him up at 3 in the morning to make a hot pocket. But I always let him go to sleep a second early. Story 3. I don't use a microwave, but my gay friends love sticking their sausages in there. I use a microwave for most things. If it is a food that requires a crunchy texture, I use my toaster oven. Story 4. Key to microwave is adding a little water to your food. Microwaves heat up the moisture. If you don't add any, your food will be as dry as my ass. Story 5. Try reheating your pizza in a frying pan, cast iron if possible. Cover it so the cheese remelts and cuts the cooking time. You will be glad you did. Story 6. It really depends on the food. Some items are hard to heat up. Take a fried chicken breast or thigh. Eat some, but if you have leftovers, they go in the fridge. Take it out and microwave it for about 2 to 2.5 minutes on power 6 to heat the middle throughout. Then put it in the toaster oven for about 3 to 4 minutes on max heat to crisp it. It's like it's brand new. I've learned in the past couple of years that microwaves are really great if you know how to properly use them. They can make otherwise difficult leftover food taste fresh. But you have to understand microwaves and how they heat food from the middle out. This is the key to utilizing microwaves properly, and in this way your relationship with them becomes symbiotic and mutually beneficial, and even, some may say, transcendent. Story 7. Any sandwich type or bread type reheat goes in the toaster oven. I highly recommend owning one. I really only use my oven when my wife uses it, and by using it, I mean I turn it off because she forgot to. Anyway, toaster oven for the win. Out of the 3, I use the toaster oven 90% of the time. Story 8. Generally microwave for a minute or so just to get it hot, and then use the toaster oven or full oven to crisp the outside and get rid of the sogginess that often comes from whatever the microwave does to it to warm it. Story 9. Microwave for reheating stuff like burritos, soup, mashed potatoes, and rice where texture isn't changed by microwaving. For nicer food like steak, roast vegetables, all fried foods, lasagna, etc., the oven is way better. If you microwave fried food, there's a deep circle of hell reserved for you. Story 10. Microwave for 95% of food. I am not picky. Food is food and I'm just trying to eat. Plus, waiting for the oven to preheat and then putting it in there? No. I prep chicken, veggies, and sometimes chicken burritos for the week, and I just microwave it when I want it. Story 11. I hate microwaves. They make food taste bad, in my opinion. Always reheat on the stove or toaster oven. Cooking food a second time on the stove can make leftovers taste even better than the first time around. For example, after I've roasted a chicken and have leftovers, I wouldn't dare toss them in a microwave because it makes meat taste rubbery. Instead, just throw some olive oil in a pan, slice the chicken, season, and roast. Throw in some bell peppers or onions for a quick 15-minute meal. Leftovers, but they taste as good as fresh. Story 12. Almost everything I toss in the microwave or sort of repurpose it. Yesterday's steak bits? Steak and eggs in a pan take 2 minutes, and it makes the steak not gross. Chicken and eggs. Fish, oven. Story 13. I once lived 2 years without a microwave. Reheating leftovers is equally aggravating and tastes better. My roommate hates microwaves and refused to let one in the house. Story 14. Michael Wave because I discovered he has different power settings, so I don't need to destroy my food in order to eat it warm. 50% on an 800 watt for double the time of full power usually works quite well, but your mileage may vary. Story 15. Usually toaster oven or frying pan. I'll gladly spend the small additional time and effort if it means the food doesn't come out mushy and heterogeneous. Story 16. It depends. I don't like reheating certain things in the microwave, such as chicken or fish, so I will use my toaster oven for those. I reheat a lot of other stuff in the microwave though. Edit. I just realized this was for men. I am not a man, but you got my input anyway. You're welcome. Story 17. Sometimes when Michael offers to wave at my food in order for it to warm up, I accept his offer on account of not wanting to be rude, but for the most part, he isn't my first choice. Story 18. Depends on the food. If it's something that's dry or crispy like hamburger buns or fries, I'll use the oven because it preserves it. If it's something juicy or watery like soup or meat, I'll use the microwave. Personally, I find that microwaves always make the fries or bread soggy, and it loses the structural support and crispness that it had fresh. Story 19. I get Michael wave over. He's been handling my reheating for so long that we've actually developed a bit of a friendship. Our family even calls him Mikey. Mikey Dub, as my kids say. Story 20. I used to put everything I got in the microwave. It was just so easy. Not anymore though, not since the accident. Turns out you shouldn't put metal in the microwave. Story 21. Well, while microwaves' methods of heating up food are efficient, the oven takes longer but does it better. So of course, microwave with my lazy self. Story 22. Depends on what I'm reheating. If it's something that's meant to be crispy, anything breaded or fried, I'm popping it in the oven or toaster oven. If it's like rice or pasta, of course the microwave. Story 23. I reheat via oven because I believe the microwave's wavelength can cause harm over time. There is a product called the New Wave which I like to use for slightly quicker heating. Story 24. Microwave because I am lazy. Though there are some things with specific instructions to reheat in the microwave or stove, etc. But if there are no instructions, then I don't care. Story 25. Depends on what you're cooking. I'm type 1 diabetic, so if I need something in a pinch, I use the microwave. Otherwise, I like cooking proper food. There's usually no leftovers, and even when there are, I make a new dish out of whatever I have. Story 26. I usually put leftovers in a pan on the stove with a little bit of water. It heats, steams, and makes the food moist and juicy again. Of course, this depends on the leftovers you are cooking. Story 27. If I am reheating French fries or poutine, stove top. Pizza and anything else, mostly mini oven. If I am drunk and just want to eat straight away without care, microwave. Story 28. It will depend on the food. I reheated a Domino's pizza bread bowl in the toaster oven. I usually use the toaster oven to reheat bread-based foods, but I used the microwave to reheat Chinese food. Story 29. Microwave. For time reasons, I also quite like what it does to the texture of some foods. For example, if you reheat pasta and some of the pasta goes really crispy. Story 30. It depends. If it's a burrito from a Mexican restaurant, then I'll use the oven, but for some things, I'll use the stovetop. Microwave the stuff that can't or shouldn't go into the oven. Story 31. I tend to use the microwave, which is more efficient. But in order to use it effectively for adequate dispersion of the heating, I use it for longer cooking or reheating times at lower energy settings. I have had enough explosions in my life. I just want hot food to be hot. Story 32. Depends, but I almost always reach out to my friend Michael. He can come on a bit too strong at times, but he has the best intentions. My oven takes forever to get ready, and I tend to get really hangry really fast. It's also never as hot as I expect it to be. I had a childhood friend who was a wizard at quickly heating things up, getting things crispy and crunchy, and even making fresh bread. Great guy, old Todd. I wonder what he's up to now. Nobody seems to know about him in Northern Europe. I should try to find him on Facebook one of these days. Have you heard from him lately, Rob the Shadow? Story 33. I don't bother reheating them unless it's pizza. Most leftovers I eat cold to save time, so I can get back to obsessively playing whatever video game I happen to be addicted to. Story 34. Usually, I go for the microwave, but a few times lately, I've caught myself putting leftovers in the oven. Like, really, what am I going to be in a rush for anytime soon these days? Story 35. I have searched day and night for a good old-fashioned username checks out. After millennia of searching, I have come to the conclusion that people named Michael simply do not occupy the lands of Reddit. Story 36. Gravy goes weird in the microwave. I think the same would happen with sauces. I've never had to reheat leftovers. I eat Domino's pizza even when it's cold with garlic dip. If I did want to reheat something and it has sauce or gravy, I'd use an oven. Other than that, I'd probably use either. Don't assume the responses here describe all guys. Story 37. Depends. If it is gumbo, you slowly reheat it on the stove. If it is a hamburger, just throw it away because it will be nasty. Never reheat fried food or hamburgers. Yeah. Story 38. Would love to be in on that first pitch to create a microwave. Hey, I have a great way to heat up food really quickly. Now hear me out. What if we use radiation? Story 39. I don't have a microwave. If it's stuff like pasta, curry, or anything that isn't fully solid, I just heat it in a pot on the stove. For solid things like pizza, I use the oven. Story 40. In all seriousness, I heat my leftovers in the microwave for a few different reasons. My leftovers are often my lunch, and I don't have an oven at work. The microwave is completely safe and it's faster. It's a lot easier, and the food doesn't taste much different. Story 41. Depends on the meal. If it's quick and easy, I'll use the microwave, usually just for smaller leftovers like a slice of pizza or something similar. For bigger items like half a lasagna, I'll use the oven because it feels less like I'm cooking a lasagna in a microwave. Story 42. Microwave. If I wanted to wait, I would cook something. Also, a wetted paper towel over the top of most things will prevent staleness or even reverse staleness. Story 43. Our microwave is also an oven, but I always use the microwave setting for heating my leftovers except for pizza. For that, I use the pizza setting. Otherwise, they get really dry. We also have a big oven, but we only use that for making pizza. Story 44. Depends on what I'm reheating, how much time I have, and how much I care that day. When I have time, I prefer to reheat in the oven because it just tastes better. But I am working 13-hour shifts now due to the coronavirus, so on those days I just want food in my belly and be done as soon as possible so I can sleep. It looks like I've been getting more acquainted with the microwave. Story 45. Oven. I don't have a microwave, and even if I did, I wouldn't use it. It's the destroyer of flavor. You want to know what hell tastes like? Microwave chicken. Story 46. Generally, I prefer the texture of food reheated in the oven. I think it heats things up more evenly. I also think my microwave, although quick and effective most times, may compromise flavor, whereas slower reheating processes enhance it. There are things like pad thai, spaghetti, or kung pao chicken where I tend to lean towards the microwave. Story 47. I am annoyingly proud of the fact that I do not have a microwave, and I have never felt lacking, except when I desperately want a Pizza Hot Pocket, which happens. Story 48. The microwave, but generally only on 50% power. The wattage on my microwave is too high, so I almost always use 50%, especially when reheating. If I want to crisp the item up, I'll throw it in the air fryer afterward for a minute or so. I used to have a great microwave in my old house that was also a convection oven. You could use it in combo mode. It was great for reheating and crisping, as microwaves can make things soggy since they're just heating the water in the food. Story 49. It depends on what I'm eating. The microwave is great for reheating soups, meat, vegetables, etc. However, it makes bread kind of chewy and soggy, so I heat up pizza and similar foods in the toaster oven since it heats up quicker than the regular oven. Story 50. I have never owned a microwave. It is one thing I will never bring into my home. I am a strong believer in the ideology that you can stop bad habits by not starting them in the first place. This is why I do not buy snacks or sodas at the grocery store. Instead, I take the time to prepare my own frozen foods like breakfast burritos and reheat them in the oven. At work, I get by with cold-cut sandwiches. Story 51. I needed this whole thread today, thanks, everyone. Also, I'm not a man, but in answer to the question, use the microwave. Cover it and leave a vent hole for steam, or you'll be cleaning mess off the top of the microwave for days. Story 52. It really depends on the food. If it's meat like fried chicken or steak, or if it's pizza or bread, you want to use your oven or a microwave oven, which is faster than just an oven but doesn't come with normal microwave drawbacks. There's a difference between that and an actual microwave, and that is the actual microwave makes the meat rubbery. But for anything other than meat, use the microwave. It's faster. Story 53. If something needs toasting or crunchiness like pizza crust, casserole toppings, or French fries, then they go in the oven. If no crunchiness or toastiness is needed, the microwave is the way to go. Story 54. I use the microwave depending on what it is. Generally speaking, if you put a glass of water in with whatever you've inserted into the microwave, it'll keep the food from drying out. Story 55. I had a colleague swear to me that reheating in the oven was better. I had never really used my oven except the stovetop. I wasn't even sure it worked, since it didn't quite turn on when I pushed the button. I thought it was broken and went through an ordeal with a toaster oven. The toaster oven took such a long time, I felt like it was a waste, so I returned it. I had previously thought my microwave was broken. Turns out it was just the outlet that died. Anyways, I am so used to using a microwave that I use it. I don't notice much difference in taste. It depends on what settings you use. I tend to cook 1 to 2 times a week, making enough that will last me the week, save for vegetables, but those only take 6 to 8 minutes to heat. Like tonight, for instance, I have a package of chicken thighs, so I'm going to put all the pieces in a pot in the oven. I will have 1 piece for tonight and save the rest for the week. Then tomorrow, I will reheat 1 piece in the microwave and go from there. Story 56. Toaster oven, stovetop, and oven are the only acceptable ways to reheat food. A microwave is for someone who doesn't care how their food tastes. Story 57. It depends on if I have time or not. If I have an hour, I will throw some leftover pizza in the oven at 200 degrees for 30 minutes, but if I have 10 minutes, 30 seconds in the microwave. Story 58. Depend on the food. If I want something crispy, I will use a pan and oil. Otherwise, it's the microwave. I never did the math, but I'm pretty sure the oven would use much more power than the microwave. If it's a lot of volume, reheat for the whole family, and it's more soupy or stewy, I'll use a pot and a bit of water to account for evaporation.